Welcome back, college football fans. It is the Fan Addict on the Fan Addict Sports Network. I'm Coach I, and you know I got the stat guy with me. What's going on, stat guy?
Hey, what's going on, Coach?
Hey, listen, man, we right around the corner. This is the one right here. I'm telling you right now, we're starting our game previews, and I think this is going to be one of the best games of the year if it lives up to the billing. What you think, stat guy?
Hey, man, I'm just glad to be back in the studio recording some game previews. That means college football is right around the corner. I'm just ready to hear some pads smack, and I know some teams have already started fall camp. I'm just ready to get it rocking.
That's right, man. We're talking LSU taking on the Florida State Seminoles. They're playing in Florida this year. Let's get into it.
The fanatic, where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk, you know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina, upstate, A64. Yeah, the FANATTIC, the fanatic, where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what
All right, man, we're talking about LSU and Florida State, man. Two of the teams that widely are considered playoff contenders this year. So this game just means that much more. How you feeling about this contest leading up to the game, Stagger?
Man, both teams are coming in with hype, right? I mean, I don't think there's two more talked about programs in the country right now as far as expectation wise coming off of last year and where they're trying to get to this year. So this has the billing to be game of the week and potentially game of the year if it can live up to the hype.
That's right. And listen, this year we're following along with Florida State. Hey, man, we're going to take the good with the bad, see if they can live up to it. And we'll talk a little LSU along the way this season as well. But this season, we got a special guest that's going to join us for most of our videos. And let's go ahead and bring them on. They showed up in the season preview, dropped a lot of knowledge on us, and they're going to continue to do so. Let's go ahead and bring our guest in. We got my boy, Stacey Derico. What's going on, Stacey?
What's happening, Coach? What's going on, stat guy?
Hey, man. You ready to talk some Florida State?
Hey,
LSU?
I am ready to talk because it's been a long time since I've been able to actually talk about my squad. So, yes.
All right, man. Our second guest in the building today is Coach Harrelson. What's going on, Coach?
Last time I could talk about FSU, I was in my 40s.
Hey, we're going to do a lot of talking about them today, though, man. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. All right, man. Let's go ahead and talk about last year's game, man. Just quickly, we'll talk about 22 LSU. Y'all came out on top of LSU on a blocked field goal extra point. You had some guys go down. What was your overall feeling about that one, Coach Harrelson? I mean, did you think you was going to win the whole time?
Well, I'll be honest. I was very nervous going into the game. I mean, I think both teams were kind of unsettled. You had a new coach with Kelly at LSU. You know, Norvell. Are we building? What's going on? I mean, and then the whole ACC SEC battle. I mean, it was very. I kind of just sit on the edge of your chair and see what happens. And I think, of course, I'm kind of biased, but I think it's probably one of the better games, you know, as far as a fan watching the game of the whole season. But yeah, it was kind of unknown. Both teams were unranked last year. It was, you know, obviously started out well for us. We kind of hung on at the end.
Yeah.
But hey, at the end of the game, you know, they don't draw pictures on the scoreboard. So whatever the numbers say, it's what happens at the end.
That's right. What about you, Derico, man? How'd that game make you feel, man? I mean, I was there, but you can explain to the people.
I mean, to me, I'm going to go with Coach Harrelson on this. Like, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. But the one thing that I wanted to hang my hat on is the fact that Kelly was new, and all the bumbling and stumbling that he made led up to that game. I was like, there's a chance, because I don't think that team would be mentally focused and ready just because their coach is not mentally focused and ready. And it turned out to be some of the mental mistakes that helped us win that game. So I was actually happy about it. But I was nervous, yes. Happy, excited, we won, yes.
Yeah, hey, I think you might have something to that because he had the whole recruiting spinning around. I don't know. It was crazy times in the offseason for Brian Kelly.
Creepy. That was
Yes.
creepy, by the way.
Yes.
Creepy, yes.
whole-
And then he
the
had
whole
the whole
accent thing.
Louisiana accent.
Mhm.
So you might be right, and maybe they was focused too much on the show and not the actual game. So, but hey, man,
I do think he's a very good coach, though. So that kind
I
of
do
worries
too.
me going in.
That's what was so weird about the stuff that was going on last year. I'm like, this is not Brian Kelly. I think he's trying too hard. If he just sits back and coaches, I think people will like him enough. So I'm with you on that. So let's go ahead and talk about this FSU offense versus the LSU defense. That guy, what you got on it, man?
Yeah, man. So looking at the FSU offense last year, they averaged 214 yards a game on the ground. They averaged another 270 through the air, and they scored 36 points a game. Balanced attack. You had the two-headed monster in the backfield, and we all know when you can run the ball, it'll open up the passing game for you. And Travis was not afraid to air that thing out once that ground game got rolling. I really think the balanced attack really helped out there. And as far as the defense they're going up against, it's going to try to stop them. LSU gave up 150 yards a game on the ground and gave up over 200 yards a game through the air, and gave up 22 and a half points a game. So there is some room there to kind of take advantage. I mean, 150 a game on the ground is rough when you're talking about what this Florida State team's capable of on the ground.
Yeah, FSU was a top 10 offense last year, and LSU was a top 40 defense. Coach Harrelson, where do you see y'all taking advantage of that LSU defense?
Wherever Harold Perkins is not.
Good
Really,
point. Good
and
point.
I think, I mean, anybody would love to have that kid on the team.
Yeah.
He's just a baller. And my guess would be going in this game, probably more of a spy on Travis.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I think our offense is friggin' loaded.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one area you can, really count on just to stop. And if you do, we've got other options. We got the kid. What's the kid's stat guy? The kid's name from South Carolina, Bell, Jaheim Bell. Yeah, tight end. That's what we lacked last year, was a consistent tight end threat.
Mm-hmm.
We've got another 6'7" Morlock kid coming in. I mean, we got matchup problems for people. I know they brought in a lot of portal guys on the defensive backfield. I thought, we kind of dodged a bullet last year. Mason Smith on their defense, who's a monster, got hurt in the first quarter last year of our game. He's back. Those are two you got to, take care of those two. I just think we have too many weapons and just too many unknowns. Not that those unknowns can't come in that first game and compete and beat us, but I just think we're loaded on offense.
Yeah. So you mentioned Mason Smith. I was going to say that he got hurt early in the game last year, which LSU had to kind of compensate to manufacture pressure on the edge. It was supposed to be him and Mekhi Wingo up that middle. So Derico, is there something that kind of concerns you, or that people should watch out for other than Harold Perkins? Like when you're talking about FSU offense versus their defense.
Well, I think offensively, the one thing that I'm hoping for is a balanced attack. I don't want us to be too heavy on the run, too heavy on the pass. I mean, it has to be a balanced attack. I actually like the first 3 quarters of our play calling. I mean, I went back and looked at some of the highlights and some of the film of it. I actually thought that was one of the more better play call games in Norvell's tenure thus far. So if we can toss in the tight end Bell with this offense, just like Coach said, there's going to be some loaded addition to this offense that I think will actually be able to score more than the 36 points as we averaged last year. I won't say they're going to be 36 against LSU, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
Well, overall, I mean, y'all had a balanced attack overall last year. Y'all was 55-45, pass, but that's about as balanced as you're going to get, what I'm saying, unless you Mark Rick and you counting plays, I love him to death, but yeah, y'all was balanced. So I mean, I don't see anything changing. I just think y'all, like Coach said, y'all got more weapons.
If we can keep Perkins thinking and not just playing, that's to me, that's the biggest thing in this game is if we can neutralize him. I mean, I feel really good about our chances.
I think
I
that's
do.
one.
I definitely do too. Go ahead, Stacey.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, man. Our offensive line has been like the best in the last 2 years since probably this year, where
Yes.
you know what I'm saying. I'm like serious, and that has been one of the Achilles heels of our teams is the fact that we didn't have offensive line, and that can be accredited to how Travis has progressed over these years. People just thought Travis was bad. No, just like the other quarterbacks before him, he just couldn't do anything because of the offensive line was just atrocious.
I think that speaks volume to the guys y'all done had back there sitting the caller, man. They ain't had a lot of time to do a lot of. So some of the guys, 4 years in, 4 years out, and they hadn't had a chance to really play like them. And I mean, Travis played great last year. So if y'all can block for that guy and keep Perkins off of him, I'm interested to see what he can do, man. So before we move on to the FSU defense and the LSU offense, then we're gonna go. We're doing something new this year. We're gonna start the Stat Guy Fact of the Day. So we're gonna give Stat Guy his time to shine. Go ahead, Stat Guy.
Yeah, so my fact of the day, the season hasn't really started yet, but from 1905 to 1947, Florida State did not field a football team, as it was called Florida State Women's College. And man, what could have been had the boys not come back from World War II and all this changed around. Florida State's definitely a powerhouse in college football through the 90s. Man, where would we be at today if it was still just a women's school? Back to you, Coach I.
There it is, man. I think some people knew that, but some people didn't, man. So that just goes to show what Bobby Bowden, listen, man, what Bobby Bowden did in his time, all those years at Florida State is nothing short of amazing, man. So, all right, kudos to Bobby Bowden. All right, man, let's talk about the FSU defense. Coach, what you got on it?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think us being healthy will be a huge thing. I think our front is, if they're healthy, is pretty nasty. We're not deep at linebacker, but I think the two that we have are really, really good. And I think our backfield got better through the portal. And as all y'all know, you got a good front four, that helps your backfield.
Yeah.
I think with this game in particular, Daniels, he's a threat. We got to make him throw the ball. We've got to contain him and make him throw the ball. I think if we can do that and he has to beat us with his arm, then I think we'll win. But he's he's Jordan. Him and Travis are the same when they get outside the pocket. They're just, you never know. So I think the big part for us is, can we get pressure on him but contain him? I think we'll get pressure on him, but there's a difference between that and making the tackle in the backfield than letting him escape. He's very dangerous if you let him escape.
Yeah, and they have LSU has all five of their offensive linemen are returning. Not that they were great because they gave up 45 sacks last year. You guys were top, I want to say y'all were top 10 with 40 sacks on defense last year. So it's looking like
had a good game against them last year.
He did. He actually had 2 sacks.
Freshmen, so they're going to be better.
Yeah.
And Lovett didn't play a whole lot that game. He got hurt. And then if the good Lord answers my prayers and grants Daryl Jackson his waiver, then we'll be even better up front. But yeah, the whole key is Daniels. He's their offense. I mean, and I think they will. The thing that hurt us last year was the zone read. You kind of play off verse and make him decide which way you're going. And if Daniels keeps it and we don't contain him, it could be a problem.
Other than Daniels, Derico, what you got, man? I know you had talked about some of that depth in the secondary.
Yeah, I'm being real. There's nothing more I can add to the fact that watching Daniels run around on broken plays, containment. Got to have containment. I mean, I saw plenty of times where we had a massive rush and he just got out of the pocket and picked up 10, 15, 20 yards with ease. And that's the thing that's going to have to be the difference in this game. you can't allow him to have 16 rushes and 114 plus yards. It just can't happen. If that happens, we're going to be in a dogfight.
So
Yeah.
he had 109 last year.
Yeah. So
109.
so that can't happen. You can't
Yeah.
have the quarterback. These are not design runs. These are just broken plays. So
I
that
think
means the rush is getting there, but you're not containing, or your linebackers are not filling the gaps to where they're supposed to be. The cornerbacks, the free safeties, our backfield is good. I mean, we were top 5 in passing yards allowed, so I'm okay with that. But again, that's predicated on the front as well. Agree with you on the linebackers. I couldn't tell you who the 2 linebackers outside of the 2 starters are. I just couldn't.
They're young.
You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't tell you who they are, and that could be good, that could be bad. But I'm just hoping that the biggest point is stopping Daniels from running. Make
I,
him throw the ball.
I
Because
think
who's he going to
y'all
throw to?
I think y'all right, because more so than Travis, Daniels was counted on for his legs. Like, I think Travis made great plays with his legs, but he wasn't counted on because
Right.
you guys got the animals in the backfield, Benson and Toafili, whereas their backfield was a lot of people, but nobody actually really stood out. Daniels actually led them in rushing. So, Stat Guy, how do you see this playing out, this Florida State defense versus this LSU offense?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of spoke to it, the containment, but it's all going to be about missed tackles, right? Whether it's the first guy just holding up and letting somebody come in and clean up, or bringing them down, missed tackles are going to play a big part in this. And Daniels is an elusive runner. He is dangerous with his legs, but they have to do a better job than they did last year of not letting him get going, because I think LSU is going to be better offensively this year than they were last year. So that's kind of the matchup I'm looking for. I'm also really looking forward to seeing this FSU defense that returns a ton on the D line, that finished with 40 sacks last year, going up against LSU's offensive line. Can they get pressure with just the front 4 and let the linebackers have free roam to clean some stuff up? Or does the LSU offensive line hold up and force Florida State to bring pressure in their front 7?
Yeah,
And
go ahead, Coach.
we will miss Jamie Robinson tremendously. He's
And that's what I was about to
led us
say.
in tackles the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We've got Shaheem Brown's going to take his place, who's a good player, but until you see live bullets like Robinson had, and I don't remember where he transferred from. Probably South Carolina, but anyway, we will miss him for sure.
Yeah, and then is there any concern about the chemistry back there with Fentrell Cypress coming over from UVA?
I don't know. If you're a true baller and want to win, then hey, bring in the people to help you win. So I hope I hope he locks down one of those corners, and like I said, a good D line will take care of your DBs.
Yeah, and I think you're gonna need Jared versus the B Jared, the projected top 5
Absolutely.
pick. You know what I'm saying? Because Malik Neighbors, he ain't no. I don't think you want to leave him one-on-one with a lot of people back there. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the status of because he definitely is that guy. They got Brian Thompson Jr. Thomas Jr. actually led them in touchdowns. He doesn't catch a lot of like yardage plays, but when they get in the red zone, they definitely use him a lot more. So it's gonna be a good. Listen, man, I'm ready for this game, just like y'all are, and then it's time for the fourth quarter, man, which means it's keys to the game and game predictions. All right, so keys to the game, Derico, you up first, man.
Keys to the game. We already spoken on a little bit. Contain that guy, number 5, from running all over the field. It's that guy. I'm glad you brought it up. I saw a lot of missed tackles. If we get one tackle and hold on to him, the keys to the game is that the defensive line, whoever wins the line of scrimmage. But the number one thing is whoever's the best quarterback of the night. That's going to come down to the play by one of the quarterbacks. And if we win, it's going to be a special teams again.
Okay. All right, Coach, what you got? Keys to the game.
I kind of go back to last year, turnovers. LSU muffed 2 punts in the game. And their very first drive, they were about to score and snapped the ball over the quarterback's head. They settled for a field goal. Even on our own team, Trayshawn Ward fumbled at the 1 with 1:40 to go in the game that would have locked the game up.
For
And
sure.
obviously, you go back, we blocked 2 kicks in that game. One, Verse blocked a field goal earlier in the game, and then Shaheem Brown, obviously at the end, where I don't know what in the world LSU was thinking. I would have gone for 2 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Glad they didn't. We blocked the punt, but that had a big impact on the game last year. And I think, obviously in any game, that's huge, turnovers.
That's right. Stat guy, what you got on it? Let's see if I got one more that they haven't talked about, but I want to see if you got it.
So I'm gonna leave it to you. So my key of the game is actually gonna be an individual matchup. And I'm expecting a fast start from Jaheim Bell, which could force LSU's hand into covering him with Harold Perkins Jr., who is that guy. And even if he takes Jaheim out of the game, Jaheim did his job, because now Harold's not just taking off at Jordan Travis the rest of the game. And that's what I'm looking for, is to see if they can take advantage with Jaheim Bell against linebackers and force LSU into putting their best guy on them, which will free up everything else for that offense.
That is true. If Perkins has to get in coverage, that's what Florida State would want, regardless if he's locking the guy down or not. That means he's not rushing the passer, because if he's rushing the passer, then that's going to be some problems. My key to the game is which team can handle the pressure the best. Last year, Coach said it at the beginning of the video. Neither team had any expectations. LSU then went on to go to the SEC championship. FSU had a great season as well. Now you both come in and you're both contenders. Nobody's not talking about LSU and Florida State being contenders. This game is so pivotal. It's the ACC versus the SEC. Whoever loses this game is almost I ain't gonna say certain, but almost most likely not gonna make the playoffs, because it's gonna be hard to lose this game and then go. FSU would have to probably face Clemson twice. LSU would have to go through Alabama, possibly Georgia, and it's not going to be good. So I think whoever comes out and handles those expectations early and not get too nervous or whatever because expectations are there, because kids play different under expectations. So that's my key to the game. So Vegas says LSU is 2.5-point favorites. The over-under for most of the betting odds is 55, so they're not expecting an offensive explosion. It's
We
more
might
like
pull out ourselves.
Hey, I'll just tell you what Vegas say. So based off the 2.5-point favorite LSU, give us your prediction, Coach.
38-31 Knowles.
38-31 Knowles. Derico, what you got?
I got 27-24. And it's going to be a squeaker. But I am going with Jordan Travis pulling it out in the end to solidify his Heisman Trophy candidacy.
Okay, putting it out there, and you more along with them Vegas lines of that 55 and under.
Yes.
Stat guy, what you got? LSU 2.5-point favorites.
Hey, I just want to preface, please don't use us to make your bets. Don't bet the house on it. I ain't got no room in my house for you to come stay with me. But no, look, I think this has potential to be game of the year. And it's probably definitely going to be game of the week for week 1, unless something crazy happens. I'm going Florida State 34, LSU 31. Look, Florida State has a bunch of bugaboos when it comes to missed field goals and extra points. They blocked one last year. I think this game comes down to a missed LSU field goal late, and they start to turn the tide with the wide left.
Yeah, y'all make me the oddball out, huh? I guess since I'm sitting up under the LSU sign. Listen, I think this is going to be game of the year. Maybe Tennessee, Alabama can top it later on, but definitely game of the first weekend. I think either of these teams can win this game. I think on paper, Florida State definitely has all the numbers to say that they're going to win. I'm going with LSU 31-28 because I currently trust Brian Kelly more than I trust Norvell. That's the only reason. I think Florida State has the top to bottom talent, but I think I've seen Brian Kelly work with a lot less than he has in Louisiana and do more with it. So we'll see, but that's my prediction, 31-28. So
we can all be wrong,
Yeah. Hey, we'll see. We shall see, man. We want to thank Coach Harrelson and Stacey Derico for coming on, man. They'll be back for other previews for the Stat Guy. This is Coach I, the Fan Addict. Yeah.
Peace.
Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound. Let's go eat. Turn on the Fan Addict. Let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gonna eat everything up off they plate?